There is a used car for sale near you right now that looks perfect. The seats are clean, the miles are low, the price is right. Even the photos look great, and the seller seems like a nice person. But if you buy it, you might spend the next 3 years fighting electrical glitches no one can fix, watching mold grow behind your dash, and finding rusty brake lines underneath. You'll be throwing money at a car that was once underwater. Someone worked very hard to make sure you'd never find out. Flood-damaged cars are a massive trap. They don't always break down immediately. Some drive fine for months. The real trouble starts later. You'll face repair bills worth thousands, health risks from mold, and airbags that might not go off in a crash. In the end, the car is worth way less than you paid. This video shows you every trick you need to spot a flood car before you lose your money. We'll cover what to look for, what to smell, which papers to check, and how shady sellers hide the truth every single day. If you're looking for a car now or soon, subscribe and hit the bell. We share practical guides every week to protect your wallet. Share this with a friend who's car shopping. It could save them a fortune. There's also a free inspection checklist in the description. Now, let's get into it. When Hurricane Harvey hit Texas in 2017, over 500,000 cars were flooded. Katrina flooded 200,000 in Louisiana back in 2005. Hurricane Ian hit Florida in 2022, damaging about 350,000 more. Recent storms like Helene and Milton added tens of thousands to that list. Those cars don't just disappear. Many get cleaned up, get new carpets, and are put back up for sale. Some are labeled as salvage, which means they were totaled, but others get clean titles through a trick called title washing. They get sold to buyers all over the country who have no idea about the car's history. The National Insurance Crime Bureau has tracked this for years. Their data shows that after a big storm, flooded cars start popping up in places like the Midwest or the Northeast, places where buyers aren't even thinking about flood damage. Here is how title washing works. When an insurance company totals a flooded car, it gets a salvage title. These cars sell for much less than normal. Most buyers won't touch them. So, some sellers take these cars to states with loose rules and re-register them. Sometimes the salvage label just disappears on the new title. This is illegal if it's done to trick you, but it keeps happening because state systems don't always talk to each other. Reports show that states like Mississippi, Kentucky, and Vermont have had looser rules in the past. This doesn't mean every car from there is bad, but if a car moved through several states in a short time, you should be suspicious. That is how a flood car ends up in an ad looking brand new with a fresh smell and a good price. The listing won't tell you it was underwater. You have to find that out yourself. Before you go see a car, check its history online. CARFAX and AutoCheck are the big paid options. A report costs about $44, though many dealers give them away for free. They check insurance, DMV, and repair records. It's not perfect. It only shows what was reported, but it's cheaper than a mechanic and catches a lot. The NICB also has a free tool called VINCheck at NICB.org. Just type in the 17-digit VIN. It tells you if the car was reported as stolen or salvaged. It takes 30 seconds and costs nothing. Do this for every car. There is also a federal database called NMVTIS. It collects title records from all 50 states. If a car was ever labeled as junk or flooded anywhere in the country, it should be here. You can find links to check this on the NMVTIS website. None of these are a total guarantee. If an owner never told their insurance and paid for the cleanup themselves, the paper trail will be clean. That's why the physical check is so important. When you look at a car, you are looking for things the seller wants to hide. Start outside. Look at the bottom of the doors and the frame. If you see rust along the bottom in a straight line, that's a huge warning. Some rust on the brakes is normal if a car has been sitting, but heavy rust on the frame of a newer car is a bad sign. Open the hood. Floods leave behind fine mud and dirt in hard-to-reach spots. Look around the battery and the corners of the engine bay. If the engine looks like it was professionally steam cleaned by a private seller, ask yourself why. Most people don't do that before selling. Check the VIN plate on the dash and the door. If the tags look like they've been messed with or replaced, walk away immediately. Inside the car, look under the seats. Pull up the floor mats and check the carpet. Floods leave stains and lines. Press on the carpet. It should be dry. If it feels damp or spongy, there's a problem. Check the metal tracks the seats slide on. These are very hard to clean. If a 3-year-old car has rusty seat rails, that's a red flag. Check the trunk and the spare tire area. Water sits there and it's often the last place to dry. Look for stains, rust, or a musty smell. Open the fuse box. Look at the metal parts. If you see green or white crusty stuff or any moisture, water got in there. Pull the seat belts all the way out. The part that stays tucked away stays wet the longest. Look for rust or dirt on the belt and the metal parts inside. Use your nose. A musty or moldy smell is a dead giveaway. Mold grows fast in wet cars and is almost impossible to get out of the seats and vents. Sellers might try to hide this with strong air fresheners. If you open a car and it smells like a perfume factory, be careful. People with nothing to hide don't usually try that hard to mask a smell. Turn on the AC and set it to recirculate. Let it run for a few minutes. If it starts to smell like a locker room, there is moisture in the system. That's a health risk and a sign of deep damage. Now for the worst part, the electronics. Water and wires don't mix. The damage might not show up for months, but eventually, the car's computers will start to fail. Modern cars have many computers for the engine, brakes, and airbags. When these get wet, they corrode inside over time. The car might act fine today, but soon you'll have weird problems that cost a fortune to fix. If you have a code scanner, plug it in. Flood cars often show many different errors at once, like the brakes, airbags, and transmission all having issues at the same time. That is a major warning sign. Check the airbag light. If it stays on or seems broken, the car isn't safe. The bags might not work when you need them. Look at the wiring under the dash. Look for green corrosion on the plugs or wires that have been cut and taped back together. It only takes a minute to check. If the car passes your tests but you're still unsure, pay for an independent inspection. Don't use the seller's mechanic. Find your own. A good check costs between $100 and $200. The mechanic will lift the car up and check the parts you can't see. It is worth every penny. That small fee can save you $10,000 later. If the seller won't let you get an inspection, just leave. In the U.S., most flood cars come from Texas, Louisiana, Florida, and the Carolinas. These cars often get shipped to the Midwest or West after big storms. A car from those states isn't always bad, but if a car moved from Texas to Ohio right after a hurricane, you should ask questions. If you find proof of flood damage, walk away. Don't try to get a lower price. Just leave. The electrical bills alone will cost more than the car is worth. If you think a seller is lying about it, you can report them to the DMV or the FTC. Hiding these problems is fraud. Buying a used car is a big deal. Flood cars are a real problem, but they aren't invisible. They leave clues like rust, smells, and bad wiring that you can find if you look. The steps here are simple. You don't need special tools, just your eyes, your nose, and the guts to walk away if things look wrong. For every car, check the VIN for free. Get a history report. Look it over yourself and have a mechanic check it. Every single time. Your hard-earned money is worth more than a car that spent time at the bottom of a lake.